extra time.
Mishti Kotha, Bengal's newest taste of sweets.
Get to you. And then also, can we please start with questions for David first, and then we will continue with Lance. All right, Kock.
David, a lot of youngsters on the team. You as senior, you've played a lot in India. You know the conditions better than a lot of youngsters. So how much of an additional responsibility lies on you in this series?
Yeah, I feel playing for your country, there's always a lot of responsibility, regardless whether you're less experienced or more experienced inside. So, I've been playing for many years now, and the responsibility has been with me for a couple of years now, and it's really exciting. There's a lot of good things to look forward to. Like you said, it's a young side. We've got a lot of energy amongst the squad. And saying it's a young side, there's also been a lot of guys that have actually played a lot of cricket in the A side, domestically. So all of us are really experienced in each department, and it's just a great stepping stone for, we come here to win, and we're looking forward to making a mark.
Anyone else?
Yeah, David, how do you see this phase in South African cricket? Obviously, your coach and your captain, they said that they are looking at this team, looking at the future, looking at the T20 World Cup. So how do you see this phase in South African cricket, especially after what happened in the World Cup?
Yeah, I think it happened at the World Cup was something to learn it. We did a few things wrong, and it never came our way. So, there's, like you said, there's a new phase in South African cricket at the moment, and like I mentioned before, it's exciting times. There's a lot of things to look forward to. We've been training really hard the last 10 days, and I think everyone's really eager now to get the games going and test ourselves. Like I said, we come to win, and we want to make a mark and really show what we're capable of.
Well, David, just an extension of the previous question. Coming from South Africa, these conditions are a bit different for youngsters, but someone like you or your skipper, they have played a lot of cricket in this part of the world. So how are you guiding the youngsters, considering, to counter these conditions, and what, according to you, is the key of handling these kind of pitches in India?
I think, like I mentioned, a lot of the guys have played A-side. They've recently been over for the A-side is still here. So, a lot of the guys have actually played in India before, not necessarily for South Africa, but the A-side. So, they're experienced in playing in these conditions. And looking at the three formats the three venues that we're playing at, they're going to be good conditions. So I think, it's, like I said, we've come to prep really well. We've been here for already a week. We've been in India for, I think, 10 days already. So Dharamshala, we've been here for a week, and the prep's been really good. I think we're going to get much of the same in the middle. It's generally a good wicket down here, or up there. And it's been a great week of prep, and like I said, the guys are eager to get going tomorrow and stand for authority.
Last two questions for David. We're starting with David Miller right now. Any questions? Last questions for David.
How do you look Kock as a skipper?
Yeah, he's been around for many years, and he's got an incredible cricket brain. It's, like I said, it's exciting times, new skipper, new players, and a lot of young, fresh faces. So it's been really good so far, and hopefully we'll see as it progresses how we go along. And it's really nice to be alongside him, and supporting him in whatever role he wants me to be in. And yeah, it's been great so far. So hopefully it continues.
Okay. First question for Lance.
For Barcelona to play all three formats, one sometime in Europe, what is the key? Yeah, I was just asking for batsmen who have to play all three formats in a short span of time around the world. What is the key? How do you make those tiny adjustments and what do you tell them and what should the approach be?
Yeah, look, I'm only here for the T20, so that's as far as my department goes, but from having played here before, the biggest challenge really in playing in India is dealing with the conditions. And that's just not necessarily the wicket, that's the weather, that's amazingly full stadiums, wonderful full press conferences, and there's a lot of things you have to deal with. And you know, you always say, oh well, you deal with the conditions, but Indian conditions are very different. Not just the wicket, there's a whole lot of other. I mean, it's a wonderful challenge. Not everybody's had the privilege of, whether they've been here with SAA, playing under a full noisy stadium, which we all wake up in the morning to try and do. You know, there's a lot of things off the ball that you need to deal with as well. So I think once you can get your head and your mind around that, it makes playing a little bit easier.
Anybody else for Lance?
Love you guys.
I have a question.
Always got a question.
Lance, for somebody like Temba Bavuma, who has been bracketed as a red ball specialist and shown his defensive technique, when a player like that comes into a completely different format, if that is his natural game, how do you make those adjustments? What, as a coach, do you tell him that what kind of adjustments does the Temba Bavuma make, which is not probably his natural game?
Yeah, you say that, you know, he was man of the match in the Mzansi final, Temba Bavuma. So it's easy to pigeonhole him and say, okay, well, he plays Test cricket, but Temba's a wonderful all-round cricketer. I think, yes, he has to maybe learn a couple of options, which we're probably trying to get our teeth into. And that really is it, you know. I think maybe he's not the biggest guy that can't muscle the ball over the fence, but there's different ways of doing it. So that's just about us giving him that option. I'm uncomfortable with this saying he's a red ball cricketer. He's a serious. You know, I think he's played 2 ODIs with 150. So he's a good cricketer that you know, just needs that opportunity, and he'll certainly get this opportunity in this on this tour. And I think he's ready. I think he's ready to make that transition into being somebody in the engine room there that can be good at rotating strike and have good plans. And others, you know, hitters like Dave and Dwayne and Andile, you know, some of the biggest hitters on the planet, that can bat around somebody like that.
How do you see this young Indian bowling lineup? I mean, obviously they're talented, but they're a bit short on experience as of now. So how do you see them?
Well, it's you know, looking at that team, it's an area that we're going to look to take advantage of. You know, just like I suppose you look at the opposing teams and areas where you think you can take advantage. Sure, it is something we're going to look to take advantage of. They're great cricketers, we know that. We're not taking anything away from that. But our focus is going to be on ourselves and little areas where we think we can take advantage. And maybe that's one of them.
Any final questions?
Lance, you were a great all-rounder. In current era, whom do you consider closer to your talent, based on Sardik Pandya? I would like.
That's a tough one. I think the game has changed a lot since when we played, and it's very tough to even. I think it's unfair to I think you've got to be careful to compare sort of even decades apart, really. But gee, the standard of all-rounders is amazing. Ben Stokes is on fire. Pandya's right up there. So we've got some young all-rounders in our team as well. Potentially can, you know, be in the top 5 in the world in the next year or so. So it's nice to see, you know, that the questions a few years ago was there's a lot of spinning all-rounders. Now there's a couple of seam bowling all-rounders out there, which is great to see as well.
Hit Hit the subscribe option and the bell icon to get all the exclusive sports videos on Extra Time.